everybody, Lurcher for Life here, bringing guys a brand new deck profile this time around. It is Darklords. Darklords are one of my favorite archetypes from GX. Like, maybe not my favorite, but definitely top 5. And I've always had a fascination with them, even before the new stuff. And after the new stuff, they're an actual archetype. Before the new stuff, oh my god, it was like, they had what, 6 monsters? And like, only 2 or 3 of them were actually playable, which is really sad. But anyways, Darklords are a lot better. I think they got a few regional tops here and there, and they're still a really good rogue deck. And thankfully, one of their big cards has finally dropped in price, and this deck is just really good, really fun, and I highly recommend to check it out if like you were going to be able to just play, I guess, budget blue eyes. And even then, it's yeah. Anyway, so enough rambling. Let's get on to the actual deck profile. First and foremost is Darklord Superbia. Darklord Superbia is really, really awesome. If you summon from the graveyard, you can special summon any other fairy from your graveyard except another copy of him. That's not once per turn, so if you have multiples of him, you can just basically go absolutely crazy and just flood the board like crazy. It is so good. But granted though, you can't target another copy of him, so that's kind of annoying. But hey, if you have multiple ways of summoning multiples, you can just go absolutely balls to the walls. Next up is Darklord okay, god dang it. I practiced this. Tezcatlipoca. There we go. Tezcatlipoca. This guy is really, really good. 2,800 attack points. If a Darklord card or cards you control would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can discard them, save your Darklord so you don't get destroyed. Really, really helpful. And then he has the standard effect for every single one of the new Darklords except Morningstar. And that is, once per turn, during your first turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, target a Darklord spell or trap card in your graveyard, copy its effect, shuffle it back in deck. Really, really good effect, being able to do it during your first turn, and just really, really awesome effects in general, being able to save your monsters, flood them in your graveyard, and then like special summon Superbia, special summon this guy back. Really, 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 really good card. Next up is the expensive one, although she's dropped significantly in price. I think you can get her for like $25 to $30, depending on who you talk to, and heck, possibly even cheaper than that. But god, she was expensive for like the first month or so after this deck came out. So, Darklord Excel, she's a succubus. I don't know why they didn't just call her, well, actually no, they just make it out a pun again. I did, it was so cute, boss. That would be terrible. Anyway, so Excel, she basically is a D-draw. Once per turn, you can discard her and another Darklord card, draw 2 cards. Really, really good card. She has the same standard effect as Tezcatlipoca, where you can pay 1,000 life points, target a spell or trap card in your graveyard, copy its effect, shuffle it back in the deck. Really, really good card overall. Very, very powerful, and god dang it, she is beautiful. I love that artwork. Next up, we have 2 Darklord Morningstar. So a lot of people don't play him. I personally absolutely love this card. The power plays he can do, the amount of life points you can gain, the amount of just flooding your graveyard is so good. So he's a level 11 if I remember correctly. He might be level 10, but I'm pretty sure he's level 11 and I'm too lazy to count all those stars right now. So he's 3k by 3k, cannot be special summoned. That's a big thing that kills him, honestly. But however, when he is tribute summoned, you can you can special summon any number of Darklord monsters from your hand or deck equal to the number of effect monsters your opponent currently controls. So if your opponent, like you're doing against like Metal Foes, they pendulum summon, oh hey, they have like 4 or 5 effect monsters out, you know, they have their big boards and everything. You tribute summon this guy, oh hey, I could special summon 4 or 5 guys. I can pendulum summon from the deck essentially, which is really freaking cool and I love him. And then his other effect is once per turn you can send a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of Darklord monsters you currently control with different names. So at max you can send 5 cards from the top of your deck, and then you gain 500 life points for every card you sent that was a Darklord card. So you can really, really just flood the graveyard, gain 5,000, no not 5,000, 25,000 life points, well 2,500 I guess. Anyways, you can just gain a crap ton of life points, flood the graveyard. It's really, really good. Then I believe he has some other effect. I can't remember what it is. I could have sworn he had like some sort of like other effect. Oh yeah, while you control another Darklord monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. I keep forgetting that one because it just never comes up. But anyways, this card is really, really good. Also, a bit of trivia for those who are wondering where they got Morningstar from Lucifer, because he was called Darklord Lucifer in Japan. Morningstars is one of Lucifer's alternate names. Like Lucifer is often called the Morning Star. in the Bible and stuff in other places. So just a little fact of trivia. So they didn't censor his name, they just changed it to another name that people used to call Lucifer. Next up we have 2 Art Sword Christia. I was debating between 2 and 3 of them. Honestly, I went with 2 because I like to be able to special summon 2. So I went with 2. You could play 3 if you really, really wanted to. He's a level 8, really good effect, really good stats. Basically, while he's out, neither player can special summon, which is just amazing. He's 2800. If you have 4, I believe it's exactly 4 fairies. Yeah, exactly 4 fairy types in your graveyard, you can just special summon him for free, which is scary. Granted though, that doesn't really happen too often. Usually special summon him off of Superbia or Call to Haunted or something else. So, really good card, but honestly I only play 2. For various reasons that I already explained. Next up, 2 Darklord Serato. Again, like Christia, I was having a tough time deciding between 2 and 3 this guy. Really, honestly, if you really want to, you could probably just drop a Morningstar and put a 3rd one of this guy in if you really want to. It's up to you though. Personally, I like playing 2 though. He has a really good effect, but he kills himself at end phase. But the effect is generally centered around, oh hey, OTKing your opponent right then and there. But that doesn't always happen. So basically what he does is, you can tribute summon him for like 1 monster if you have 4 darks in grave. Yeah, if there are 4 more darks in graveyard, you can tribute this card by tributing 1 dark monster. That never comes up, you just special summon him. And then once per turn you can discard a dark monster, send it from your hand to the graveyard, and then nuke your opponent's monster zone. Which is really, really good, but he kills himself at end phase, which is just not very great. Granted though, again, it's designed around just OTKing your opponent that turn, but again, that doesn't always happen. Now for the 1-ofs, I play 1 Asmodeus. A lot of people have completely dropped him, but Asmodeus has a special place in my heart as he's my favorite Darklord, so I feel obligated to play at least 1. He's pretty good though. He can't be special summoned from the deck or graveyard, which is kind of sucky. But anyway, so he has a once per turn Foolish Burial effect, which is really, really nice. And also, if he dies, you get to special summon 1 Asmo token and 1 Deus token. One of them cannot be destroyed by card effects, the other cannot be destroyed by battle. And they just kind of set up for, oh hey, tribute summon Morningstar plays, which is really, really nice. And then for the final Darklord, I play 1 Amsduck. He has a nice recursion effect to grab back your Morningstar or your Asmodeus or anything else in your graveyard by discarding him and another Darklord card. And then he has the standard, oh hey, pay 1,000 life points during your first turn, shuffle it back in the deck, blah blah blah. The only downside is that this guy has more defense than attack. He's more of a defensive monster than attack points, which honestly, this deck is a super aggressive deck, so you don't really want to have a super defensive card in your deck. So I put him at 1 just as a 1-of. He's just for recursion more than anything. And then just for the 2 non-Dark Lords, I played 2 Maxi. You know, Maxi. This deck is basically Rogue at this point, and I feel like Maxi is just too good not to play in the main deck for most Rogue decks. The sad thing is I tend to mill this guy off of Morningstar. So, yeah, I always have terrible luck with mills, but I'm sure most people don't have that kind of problem. Anyways, next up, for the spells, well, first up for the spells, triple Darklord Contact. It's Monster Reborn, but summons the monster in defense. Really, really good card. It's exclusive to Darklords. I absolutely love it, and sadly you only get to use it once per turn, but you can get around that because you activate it, and then, oh hey, you use the effect, and then you use any of the Dark Lord's effects to copy the effect, and hey, you can do it again. So it's not like, you aren't just locked to just being able to do it once a turn, which is really, really good. Next up is triple of Banishment of the Dark Wards. I almost called it Bewitchment. I think that's a different card. So basically what this does is you can add any Dark Lord card from your deck to your hand except a copy of itself, I believe. Yeah, except itself. So you can add the spells, traps, monsters, whatever you want. Really, really, really nice. Being able to search off the D-draw is amazing. Just being able to, you know, dig through your deck by 3 cards. That is really good. I love it. Really, really good card. 90% of the deck is level 8, so trade-in is a must at 3. Really, really good card for the deck, being able to just dig through your deck, get to your stuff faster. Absolutely love it. Then I got, this is my tech for Morningstar, and I guess, well, it's mostly just for Morningstar, and that is Fires of Doomsday. So it's basically Scapegoat, but can only be used for dark monsters, and you get 2 of the tokens instead of 4. I was kind of floating between this and Scapegoat. The big thing about this, though, is that they are dark, and yeah, that it's just defensive, and also Yeah, you can play this or Scapegoat. It doesn't really matter. The big thing about this, though, is that this deck tends to swarm the field, so you have less monster spaces, so this tends to help out a bit more. The downside is that you have to wait a turn to be able to summon anything, so I usually set it, and then use it either defensively for protecting my life points, or for being able to summon Morningstar. Now, I'm sure some of you will say, oh, but what about Mausoleum of the Emperor? You can use that, and then, hey, look at that, you can normal summon your other big Dark Lords and not have to worry about anything. I tried that, and I also ran into a bit of a ruling issue. Apparently, Morningstar will not get his effect by being tribute summoned using Mausoleum of the Emperor. I don't know why. I have done so many like searches and everything, but it does not trigger whenever I use Mausoleum of the Emperor to summon him on YgoPro, Devpro, or anywhere else, and I can't find any good explanation for that. I know YgoPro goes by OCG rulings, so it might be an OCG versus TCG ruling thing. I don't know. I can't find any rulings on it anywhere. I think it's because Mausoleum of the Emperor doesn't technically tribute summons the monster. It normal summons it, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, it's a weird ruling issue. Next up, 2 Twin Twisters. Everything likes being in a graveyard, except for like Morningstar. So yeah, 2 Twin Twisters really good. I main 2, side a 3rd. Really good card, just being able to get stuff in your graveyard, pop in back row, and this deck, it hates back row so much. 1 Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, just being able to spam out your guys once a turn without, well, just being able, it's a starter. It's basically what it does. Okay, once per turn, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can spell summon a fairy from your hand. Very, very helpful. Basically, it makes all your fairies Cyber Dragons. Very, very helpful, very, very useful. It's a combo starter, play starter, basically all that stuff. Next up, 1 Fool's Burial. As I said, same principle of Twin Twister. Everything likes being in graveyard, so this just gets you going, really. That's all the spells. If I can pick them all up, there we go. Get out of here. Yeah, there we go. Now for the traps. Triple Darklord Rebellion. The big reason why I play triple of this is to get to it faster, and also you generally want to mill it as well. So basically what this does is you send a Darklord from your hand or field to the graveyard. It has to be a monster. Pop a card on the field. Does not target, which is the big thing. It does not target. Very, very wonderful card. And of course, obviously, you can use it during your first turn, and then you can use it a second time with any of the Darklord monster effects. Theoretically more if you have multiple Darklords out and multiples of these in the graveyard. Very, very good card. And hey, if you do use the Darklord monster effects to copy its effect, you don't have to pay the cost, which is amazing. And generally speaking, you want to get this in your graveyard more than you do want to activate it on your field. Next up, whoops. 2 Call to Haunted, being able to spell summon any of your guys from the graveyard is very, very nice. That's the whole point of this deck, and Call to Haunted helps out with that. And then 1 Dark Lord Enchantment. I've been debating between 1 and 2 of this, but I dropped it down to 1 because it just didn't come up that often where I needed it. So it has the same basic principle as Rebellion, where you send a dude from your graveyard, from your field or hand to the graveyard, but instead of popping a monster, you get to take control of a monster, which is really, really nice, but it lasts until the end of the turn, and it's really nice, but it just isn't really all that relevant. I believe this targets, does not actually. Wow. So yeah, I've been really just kind of floating between 1 and 2. You could play 1 or 2. Heck, if you really want to, you could go 2 and 2 of these. I personally prefer 1 of this, just for a general thing of like, you want to be able to just be able to poke your opponent's monsters and destroy them. They get their monster back at the end phase, which is the big thing about it. For what its cost is, they shouldn't get it back. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, the extra deck is kind of upping the air for me, because there are some staples, but obviously a lot of it, there's just so many rank 8s, and you're pretty much locked into rank 8s, so you could play any ratios of these, really. First and foremost, I play 2 Titanic Galaxy. I really, really love this card. It's one of your main rank 8s that you do make. Honestly, this deck doesn't go into its extra deck too much, but however, obviously, this guy is one of the main ones you do make. Next up, I played 2 number 40 Gimmick Puppet of Strings. I want to replace one of these for number 15, and I know I have one, but I cannot for the life of me find it. I've torn apart my whole collection looking for it, and I cannot find it anywhere, so just imagine one of these as a number 15. Now for the one-ofs. When I got on the Sea Castle, Castrum, Being able to just get rid of stuff from your opponent's extra deck is always nice. Very, very scary card. Just being able to pick out things from your opponent's extra deck and locking them out of some of their key cards, like maybe Utopia or Ignister, stuff like that. One number 23, Lancelot. Very, very powerful card. He's a Light and Darkness Dragon that it can attack directly and pop monsters. Really, really good card. One Felgrand, he's basically a stronger version of Lancelot, but can't negate everything and doesn't get to pop monsters. But hey, he can protect himself and be used offensively or defensively. Very, very good card. Next up, I play one number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Strings. Sorry, not Strings, Leo. This card is really good, but really, honestly, I don't recommend going into it unless, like, you know your opponent is just playing like some kind of stall deck, or you know that they've already exhausted all their resources to be able to get over it. For those who don't know what this guy does, once per turn, if you control no back row, you can detach and seize material, put a counter on him, and once he has 3 counters, you win the duel. So yeah, very, very good card, 3200. Your opponent can't get over it very easily. Again, the big issue is that, hey, effect filler, you're kind of screwed. But nobody's really playing effect filler right now, and nobody's really playing any monster negation anyways. Heck, that's the big thing about it, is that nobody's playing monster negation except for like Solemns. And hey, if you're going first, you can get this, and then hey, your opponent's gonna have a tough time getting over it. It's 3200, and of course you're gonna be able to have all your other stuff to be able to block your opponent and prevent your opponent from attacking over it. Now that being said though, I've only made him once, and it was actually like a month ago, so I can't remember if I won or not off his effect. Next up, Galaxy Cypher Dragon. Just being able to take control of your opponent's monsters is really good. And then, of course, being able to take control of your opponent's monsters and turn them into a Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Dragon. Very, very, very mean. I love it. That combo is just so obnoxious, but it's just so good. I also play number 107 and also number 62. 62 being able to attack over just about everything in a game, and number 107 just being able to just, you know, screw over your opponent's stuff. Such a good card. One number 22, Zombiestein. He needs 2 level 8 darks to go into. He's 4500. I believe that's the strongest base attack for a rank 8 in the game. He does have an interesting negation effect, but you literally never use it because it's not good. Basically, once per turn, during his turn, you can detach seize material, send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target a card your opponent controls, negate its effects till the end of the turn, and Zombiestein gets switched to defense. He has 1000 defense. Anything can run him over. So yeah, he's not very great defensively. I don't know why they gave him a defensive effect, but hey, whatever. Number 84, Pain Gainer, literally just simply because his effect to be able to overlay on top of a rank 8 or I believe it's rank 7, 8, no, rank 8, 9, or 10 dark type Xyz monster allows you to then go into number 77, the 7 Sins. This card being really, really, really good. Sadly, you can't use either of his really good effects during the turn that he's Xyz summoned through his, plop him on top of Pain Gainer effect. But, oh well. Still a really good card. And this deck, again, the extra deck is completely down to you. This is just what I personally play. So yeah, the extra deck can be whatever ratios you want. If you want to play like triple Titanic Galaxy, go ahead. So guys, that is the deck profile. Tell me what you guys think. Any ideas, recommendations, concerns, comments, whatever, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And see you all later. Peace out. Goodbye.